So today, we're going to talk about a threat that takes one of our most trusted security tools and turns it completely on its head. We're talking about an attack that literally just walks right past multi-factor authentication, and it does it by using the very same login pages we've all been trained to trust. So how on earth can an attacker turn Microsoft's own front door into their personal back door? Let's get in.
For years, we've all been told this same thing. MFA is the key. It's that golden ticket to securing our digital lives, right? That little extra layer, that code on your phone, that's supposed to keep the bad guys out for good. But what if I told you that core belief, that very foundation of our security, might actually be giving us a totally false sense of safety?
And here it is. This isn't about some cleverly designed fake website that just looks like the real thing. No. This attack uses the actual 100% legitimate Microsoft login pages. You put in your password, you approve that MFA prompt on your phone, and you still get compromised. How is that even possible? Well, stick around. That's exactly what we're going to break down.
All right, so first up, the MFA bypassing phish and how our trust can be turned into a weapon. This technique is honestly a masterclass in deception. It works because it doesn't try to break down the door. It just tricks you into holding it wide open for the attacker.
The official name for this is device code phishing, but at its heart, it's just a really clever social engineering con. The whole attack, and I mean the entire thing, hinges on getting you, the user, to do one simple, tiny thing that seems totally harmless. Copy a string of text from your browser's address bar and paste it somewhere else. That's it. That's all it takes to hand over the keys to your account. I love this analogy because it perfectly explains why this whole thing works. See, every single Microsoft 365 environment has these powerful, pre-approved applications just sitting there. We're talking about developer tools like Azure CLI and PowerShell. Think of them as the guests hiding in your house. An attacker doesn't need to get admin approval to use them. They just have to trick any user into inviting them in, and boom, they've got access. So let's just recap why this is so incredibly dangerous. First, it's using real Microsoft sites, so your browser shows all the green locks and security signs you're trained to look for. Second, your login is actually successful. You get the MFA push, you hit approve, and because it all looks like normal activity, a lot of security software doesn't even blink. And here's the kicker. It doesn't matter if you're an admin or not. Any user in the entire company can be the way in.
Okay, so we know why it's so sneaky. Now let's walk through exactly how this whole deception plays out, step by step, because once you understand the playbook, you can spot it a mile away. It all starts with something you've seen a million times, an email with a link to some important document. You click it, and you land on a genuine Microsoft login page. You log in, you approve the MFA, everything feels totally normal. But then, instead of a document, you get a blank page. The original phishing site then pops up a little message, something like, "Whoops, to finish syncing, please just copy the code from your address bar and paste it here." You do it, and that's it. Game over. You've just handed the attacker a valid session token. It's basically a digital key that proves you're logged in, letting them right into your account without needing your password or another MFA prompt ever again. Now, this isn't just some theory cooked up in a lab, right? Not at all. Let's look at how this exact technique is being used by very sophisticated cybercrime groups right now to break into organizations all over the world. Yeah, security researchers have actually tied these widespread campaigns to a group they've named Storm 2372. And we're not talking about a small-time operation here. This is a serious group, believed to be connected with Russian state interests, and they're using device code phishing as one of their go-to tools to hit their targets. And if you look at this timeline, you can see just how fast this whole thing blew up. It was barely on the radar in late 2024, but by the second half of 2025, it was everywhere. Attackers have been fine-tuning their methods, making it even harder to detect, and today, it's one of the top ways they're getting around MFA. Okay, enough of the scary stuff. We've defined the problem, we've seen the threat in action. Now for the most important part. What can we actually do about it? The good news is there are some very real, concrete steps we can take, both as individuals and as IT teams. Okay, let's break this down. For every single one of us, the big takeaway is this. A real, legitimate login process will never, ever ask you to copy and paste a code from your browser's address bar. If you see that, stop. Full stop. It's a huge red flag. Now, for all you IT and security pros watching, your job is to make this attack impossible on a technical level. You can watch for this kind of login and create rules to either block it entirely or lock it down super tight. It's kind of like being a bouncer. You're telling the system which IDs are valid for this specific type of entry.
And ultimately, this just drives the point home. Real defense here is a partnership. You've got users who are the first line of defense, using their awareness to spot the trick. But the strongest defense, the real prevention, comes from IT teams building technical walls that stop the attack from working at all. You absolutely need both.
So for the IT admins, you've basically got two main playbooks. The first one, and probably the easiest for most companies, is to use a conditional access policy, which is just a fancy set of if this, then that rules for logins, to just block this authentication method, the device code flow, completely. If nobody in your company is supposed to be using these tools this way, that's your best bet. The second option is a bit more like surgery. If you do have developers who need these tools, you can set them up so they require explicit permission. That means an attacker can't trick some random employee into letting them in, only your pre-approved people can activate the tool.
Now, hold on. Before you run off to block everything, there's one really, really important step. Security experts all agree, run any new policy in report-only mode for at least 2 weeks, so 14 days. This lets you see who or what would get blocked before you flip the switch. That way, you can find anyone who's actually using it for legitimate work and avoid breaking things for your team. And that kind of leaves us with one final, pretty powerful thought. This whole attack proves that even with the best tech defenses in the world, like MFA, our own trust, our simple, ingrained habit of just following on-screen instructions, can be turned into our biggest weakness. It's a heck of a reminder that security isn't just about technology, it's also about thinking critically.